On the night of December 29, 1916, a group of Russian noblemen invited a peasant mystic to dinner. They poisoned his food. He kept eating. They poisoned his wine. He kept drinking. They shot him. He got up. They shot him again. He ran. They beat him, bound him, and threw him into a frozen river. According to the autopsy, none of that killed him. The question is, who pulled the trigger?
Grigory Rasputin was born in 1869 in a village in western Siberia. He was a peasant, uneducated, unwashed, and by most accounts, deeply strange. He had piercing eyes that people found difficult to look away from. He drank heavily. He reportedly never bathed. And he had a gift that no one could fully explain. He could ease the suffering of a child that the best doctors in Europe had failed to help. Alexei was the heir to the Russian throne. He had hemophilia, a condition that made any cut, any bruise, a potential death sentence. The Tsar's doctors were helpless. Rasputin was not. Whether through hypnosis, herbal knowledge, or something else entirely, he seemed to be able to stop the boy's bleeding episodes. For the Tsarina Alexandra, that was enough. Rasputin became untouchable. The Russian aristocracy despised him. A filthy Siberian peasant, they said, sleeping in the palace, whispering in the Tsarina's ear, influencing government appointments. By 1916, as World War I ground Russia toward collapse, Rasputin had become the most hated man in St. Petersburg. And crucially, he was pushing the Tsar to withdraw Russia from the war. If Russia withdrew from the Eastern Front, Germany could transfer hundreds of thousands of troops to the West. Britain, already bleeding, could not survive that. Rasputin, whether he knew it or not, had become a geopolitical threat to the British Empire. On the night of December 29, 1916, Rasputin was invited to the Moika Palace by Prince Felix Yusupov, one of the wealthiest men in Russia, married to the Tsar's only niece. Yusupov told him his wife Irina would be there. She wouldn't be. She was in Crimea. It was a trap. According to Prince Yusupov's memoirs, written years later after he had fled Russia and needed money, the night was extraordinary. Rasputin consumed cakes and wine laced with cyanide. Enough, Yusupov wrote, to kill 5 men. Rasputin showed no reaction. Yusupov then shot him in the chest. Rasputin collapsed. The conspirators went upstairs, assuming he was dead. When Yusupov returned to the body, Rasputin opened his eyes, grabbed Yusupov by the throat, and chased him into the courtyard. According to Yusupov, it took 3 bullets, a beating, and being thrown through a hole in the frozen Malaya Nevka River to finally kill Rasputin. His daughter Maria later added that when they pulled the body from the water, his hands were raised, as if he had been making the sign of the cross even as he drowned. The story was perfect, almost impossibly perfect. Dr. Dmitry Kozorotov conducted the autopsy on Rasputin's recovered body. He found 3 gunshot wounds. He found severe blunt force trauma. He found no water in the lungs. Rasputin was already dead when he entered the river. And he found no trace of cyanide. None. Rasputin's own daughter had noted that her father never ate sweet food. A previous stomach injury made sugar unbearable. He would never have touched the poisoned cakes. The poison story was almost certainly fabricated. The fatal wound was a contact shot to the center of the forehead, pressed directly against the skin. This is not how you shoot a man who is running away from you, as Yusupov described. This is how you execute someone. A review of the autopsy in 1993 confirmed the original findings and noted something else. The caliber and type of the bullet were consistent with a British .455 Webley revolver, the standard sidearm of British military officers in World War I. Yusupov and his co-conspirators were not carrying British weapons. In December 1916, 2 officers of British military intelligence were stationed in St. Petersburg. One was Oswald Rayner. Rayner had studied at Oxford with Prince Yusupov. They were close friends. Rayner visited the Yusupov palace on the afternoon of the murder. After Rayner's death in 1961, friends and family confirmed that he had told them he was present in the palace the night Rasputin died. Our objective has been achieved. Reaction to the demise of dark forces has been well received. Rayner is attending to loose ends. Dark Forces was British intelligence's code name for Rasputin. The letter has never been authenticated. MI6 archives contain no document linking Rayner or any British agent to the murder. Either the files were never created, or they were destroyed, or the letter is a forgery. The archives tell us nothing, which in intelligence terms tells us something.
Here is the question no one asks about Rasputin. Not, how many times did they have to shoot him, but why did they need to lie about it? Yusupov confessed to the murder. He was celebrated for it. Crowds cheered him in public. He was punished with house arrest on a family estate. He had nothing to hide. Except one thing.
If British intelligence was involved in Rasputin's death, the cover-up had to be perfect. A foreign government assassinating a figure close to the Russian royal family would have been an act of war. The solution was elegant. Let the Russians take credit. Give them a better story. Make the murder legendary enough that no one would look too closely at the details. Published in 1927, Yusupov's account of the murder was an immediate sensation. The poison that failed, the man who wouldn't die, the desperate struggle in the cellar. It was more novel than testimony. Historians have noted that the account contradicts not just the autopsy, but Yusupov's own earlier statements to police. The book was compiled with the help of Oswald Rayner, the British intelligence officer, the man who may have fired the fatal shot. Rayner helped write the story that erased him from it. Days after the murder, Tsar Nicholas II told the British ambassador that he believed a British agent had been involved. The ambassador denied it. Samuel Hoare, head of British intelligence in Russia, called the suggestion outrageous and incredible to the point of childishness. He learned of Rasputin's death before it was publicly known in St. Petersburg, before the body had even been found. 3 months after Rasputin's death, the Russian Revolution began. The Tsar abdicated. The Romanov dynasty, 300 years of rule, ended. In July 1918, Nicholas, Alexandra, and their 5 children were shot in a cellar in Yekaterinburg by Bolshevik guards. The war Rasputin had wanted Russia to leave ended 4 months later. Britain survived. Russia became the Soviet Union, and Rasputin became a myth. It required Rasputin to be inhuman, a supernatural figure immune to poison and bullets. Because if he died like anyone else, quickly, efficiently, from a single shot to the head, then the story raises questions. Who was that precise? Who had that kind of training? Why would a group of panicking Russian nobles execute someone with the calm efficiency of a professional? Yusupov was celebrated as the man who saved Russia. He spent the rest of his long life, he died in 1967, telling and retelling his version of events. Each retelling made Rasputin more monstrous. Each retelling made Yusupov more heroic. And buried just a little deeper the question of the third bullet, the contact shot, the Webley revolver, the British intelligence officer who was there.
Rasputin is remembered as impossible to kill. That's the story. But the forensic evidence suggests he died quickly, from a single professional shot delivered at close range by someone who knew exactly what they were doing. Prince Yusupov was many things. A trained assassin was not one of them. Oswald Rayner left no confession. MI6 released no files. The archives are silent. And silence in intelligence work is not the same as innocence. It's just better cover.